Hey boys and girls, I'm back. Today is Wednesday, April the 21st, and we're going to get started with our number corner activities for today. As you can see, here's our calendar marker, and I know it looks kind of small, so we're going to enlarge it on this screen, and we are going to fill in our calendar recording sheet today. You may remember yesterday I told you that we weren't going to fill in, or I was going to fill it in for you for the rhombus. But after I thought about it, I wanted to make sure that you understood what was happening with the rhombus. They only give us one side, but yet we need to figure out the perimeter. So do you think this is a regular polygon, a regular rhombus, or not? And by regular, I mean all the sides are equal. Yeah, that's the only way we would be able to figure out what the perimeter is. So that means I have 6 times 4 because I have 4 sides, and I'm going to be specific with my units, which means I have 24 centimeters. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Okay, so now today we have a shape that looks kind of funky. And in order to name the shape, we need to count the sides. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's the shape called? You got it. It's a pentagon. Is it a regular pentagon? No. Regular pentagons would have the same, all sides would be equal. Okay, so to figure out the perimeter, we need to add up all the sides. So we have 8 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 3 centimeters plus 4 centimeters. How many centimeters is that? Add it up. Did you get 23 centimeters? Good. I want to point out that our perimeter is showing a pattern of some sort. It looks like we'll have a number, and the next day is 1 less, and then we're adding 3. And then it's 1 less, and then we're adding 3. And then it's 1 less, and then we're adding 3. And then it's 1 less, and then we're adding 3. That seems to be the pattern for our perimeter so far. So let's focus on the main topic of today, which is calendar collector. It is the 10th day that we are in school for April, and so we get to collect our 10th decimeter. So let me go ahead and collect it for us. And remember, this decimeter is a smaller version of what our actual decimeter, looks like. And when I showed it to you earlier this month, you saw that it was about the size of my palm. And so this whole time we've been talking about decimeters, we know that it took 10 of the decimeters to equal 1 meter. So what fraction do we have now if we're talking about meters? How many decimeters? 1 decimeter is 1/10. Now we have 10, so we have, good, 10 tenths. And I'm also going to write that as a decimal number, which is 1.0. Okay, so we have 1 whole meter. How many days did it take for us to get 1 meter? How many? Good. It took 10. So now we have 10 decimeters, and that gives us how many centimeters? How are we going to figure it out? Good. That gives us 100 centimeters. Have y'all been seeing the pattern here? If not, think about going directly from decimeters to centimeters. What operation could I do every single time that's going to give me the same answer? Well, not the same answer, but the correct answer. 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 30. And remember that every decimeter is 10 centimeters. So each time I'm multiplying 10. Yeah, I'm multiplying 10 each time. So even though it's not the 11th day of school, let's go ahead and collect for the 11th day and for the 12th day. Let's do it. So here's day 11, which would be tomorrow. And that gives us how many meters now? Good. So we have 1 whole meter, and then we have, so this is our whole meter right here with our 10 decimeters. But now we have 1 decimeter left over. So that's 1 and 1/10 of a meter. And I'm going to write that as a decimal because you guys should know how to write fractions or mixed numbers as decimals, right? 1 and, which is our decimal, 1/10. That's how I would write it. So we know that means we have 11 decimeters. And Ms. Trammell kind of already gave you the hint that in order to figure out the centimeters, we are just multiplying by what? By 10. So I have 110 centimeters. Oop, this is decimeters, and that's centimeters. So let's do one more. Here's our 12th day. We were to have another day to collect for. That means we now have what? Good, 1 and 2/10, which I can write as a decimal 1 and, that's what that decimal says, 2/10, because the 2 is in the 10th place, which gives us 12 decimeters. And how many centimeters is that? Good, 120 centimeters. So now my question is, we have all our information. How are we going to use that to figure out how many centimeters we're going to have on day 13? How many centimeters will we have on day 13? Did somebody say we're just multiplying by 10? You're right. So on day 13, we would have how many centimeters? Good. 13 times 10, which is 130 centimeters. How about on day 15 then? Good. 15 times 10, which is 150 centimeters. And then the other question is day 18. How many centimeters are we going to have on day 18? What am I doing each time? Multiplying by 10. Why am I multiplying by 10? Because on every single decimeter, there's 10 centimeters. So I've got 18 of them, then I have 10 18 times, which is so much easier to do 18 times 10 for 180 centimeters. Okay, so let's check our work here. We did it. We just didn't do the conversions to, or writing it as a mixed number and then writing it as a decimal. So we have it done here, and I like what they've done here, so I'm going to actually go back, and instead of putting 11 decimeters, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just leave it. We do have 11 decimeters, so I might need to change this. I'm just going to change that. Because we don't have 1 5/10 of a decimeter. We have literally 11 of them, and 12 of them, and 13 of them. Okay, so now, the challenge. We only have about 16 school days in April because we have an e-learning day coming up, and then we had a whole week off for spring break in April. So, with that being said, if we had more than 20 days of school, like we normally would have in a month, or sometimes we have a little bit more than 20, let's say we had 25 days of school. Can you, after our conversation today, use a strategy to determine how many meters that would be, decimeters, and centimeters we would have if we collected for 25 days? Go ahead and take out a piece of paper, write it down, write it on a whiteboard, And if you need to pause this video, do so. Right, if you're thinking about it, let's go back and think about how many decimeters it took for 1 full meter. It took 10, right? So then how many decimeters would it take for 2 full meters? Good, we would need 20, but I'm asking for 25. So we know that we would have more than 2 meters, right? And then our picture shows it perfectly. How many decimeters are on half of a meter? 5. So I have 25. That means essentially I would have 1 whole meter, 10, 20, and then another 5, which is 2 1/2 of a meter. And we can check our answer. Yeah, 2 5/10. That's absolutely correct. So how many decimeters is that? Good. It's 25 decimeters. 25 decimeters. And how many centimeters is that? How are we finding out how many centimeters? Yeah, we're just multiplying by 10, which would give us, we got it, 250 centimeters. So that's all we have for today. We just wanted to talk more in depth about our calendar collector, and then we wanted to update our calendar grid. So we have 2 more days this week. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about line plots, and then I think we're going to have some time to play a game on Friday. So for now, behave, get your work done, and I'll see you back again tomorrow.